swimming in the ocean and you're working at Beaumont People. What is it that you're doing?
I recruit for permanent positions for the associations and membership sector, from reception to CEO and everything in between.
Fantastic. So say I'm a client and I want to engage you. What's the process? Where do we start?
So I would take a full brief from you, and whether that be face-to-face at your office or via Zoom. And on that brief, we talk about the skills and experience that you need in the role, but we also talk about culture fit, which is really, really important. We talk about the organisation. It's really important for me to understand the organisation, where you've been and where you're going, and also your management style.
Fantastic. So say I'm happy to engage. I want people to find me my permanent person. In terms of candidates, what's the process for you finding the best person for me?
Yeah. So we would search our internal database and talk to any candidates that we know of that are passively looking for work. So we would talk to these candidates about the role and if they're interested, and ask them to apply. But we also advertise, and we advertise on multiple channels and job boards, including the AusA Career Centre. We then, from any candidate that on paper looks good, we look at every single resume ourselves. They don't go through a computer. Once we've looked at the resume looks good, we telephone interview them and also have a face-to-face interview with any candidates as well.
Fantastic. So then you send me over the resumes of the people that you like, and I choose the ones I want to interview?
So we don't tend to send resumes straight away. We'd actually book an appointment to have a conversation with you about the people, because you can't always get the information that you want from a resume. So we would have a brief with you and talk about the resume. We'll talk about the people and why we feel that they've matched the role, and we would shortlist. So we might interview 10 or 15 people to get a shortlist of 5 people that I would then present to you and suggest that they're the ones that you meet with.
Fantastic. So we've interviewed some candidates who've chosen our favourite. What's the process from that stage in terms of securing the candidate? How do you help us with that?
So if you, the client, have then interviewed the people that we recommend, and you've maybe done first and second interviews and you want to offer, we would then go to reference stage. We take 2 really detailed references on your preferred candidate, and then from there we negotiate the salary, the offer and the start date.
Fantastic. And then is that the last we hear from you?
Absolutely not.
Great.
So after they've placed with you, we then keep in contact with you, the client, but also the candidate at multiple points in that first year. And we also offer a complimentary attachment for the 3-month stage, which is a really good conversation between myself, you, the client, and the candidate, particularly in that probation period, just to see how they're getting on.
Great. That sounds really thorough. Thanks, Louise.
Thanks, Jo. So when you're not at boot camp or learning French, what do you do for Beaumont People?
So I recruit only for temporary and short-term contract positions, which means that the process is very similar to Louise's, but much speedier. So usually I will have the pool of candidates raring and ready to go. I will usually have somebody in mind when you call and initially talk to me about the job, and that means that there's no such thing as short notice in the temp world. If you need a membership temp to start the next day to speak to your members, then that's no problem for us. All of our temps come referenced and checked and ready to go. They've all been screened and interviewed prior to you contacting me about the temp job. I will then call you and talk to you about my preferred option, their personality, their culture fit, but also their skills. If you're happy, we get them booked in and we get them up and ready to go very, very quickly.